All right, boys. So here we are on the demonic deer fourth floor gameplay showcase, as this is gonna be pretty much a guide to help you guys be able to defeat the demonic deer fourth floor. Obviously, right now you are seeing pretty much gameplay footage that I recorded as I got home from work. That's why I haven't really uploaded a video that fast today, because you know, this morning I did like a little bit of a first impression where I went all the way to the fourth floor, but I couldn't figure out that gimmick. Obviously, players by that time already figured out how to kind of handle the gimmicks on all of the deer stages, and even some gimmicks that I kind of missed out for myself, they was able to figure out, which we are going to be able to explain for you guys who are still struggling. But this is the team that I rocked, which feature Hale, Thor, Jormungandr, and Freyr. The only character who has attack set is my Thor. Everybody else is rocking HP/defense. And again, the two must characters that you must run are Thor and Jormungandr. Jormungandr is the character who's strong against it, and Thor is just a heavy hitter for Ragnarok at the moment, because again, you are required to use a full Ragnarok team for the deer, unfortunately. The other characters like Hale and Freyr, I have seen different comps to use and they've defeated. Like, I've seen people use Red Magelda instead of Hale and then kept Freyr, or I saw people use Hale and then they put Red Magelda instead of Freyr. So it all depends on you, right? So we are going to be showcasing the gameplay, kind of breaking down each phase for you guys so you can have a better understanding on what each phase does and what you want to do to help defeat the deer. So this is gonna be a little bit of a hopefully a short breakdown, right? I doubt it though. So here we are on the first phase. Now this is where you want to kind of like at your first turn waste some cards. Usually I just start off with this type of hand, and then you have your Thor card at the very end, because again, that will be where you rank up. Again, for each skill you use that are different characters, the last card will be a rank up, because you know, Jormungandr Holy Relic activates and rank up your entire hand, and this allowed Thor to hit pretty hard on that first hit. Now this is where you want to be frozen on this phase. So as you can see right there, he applies those gray debuffs, those Tauren debuffs. Those debuffs last as long as you are not frozen, right? So you want to try to get rid of those gray debuffs as soon as possible, and the only way I've seen possible is from you getting frozen. I think it lasts a very long time, and that's how you get hit with like maximum amount of damage for each skill you use. So if you're going to be noticing, every time I use a skill, I'm gonna start taking damage, and that's because of those Tauren debuffs. I believe it does like 10% of the damage you deal. So you want to trying to be very, very careful whenever you are attacking using this. And after this, you will get frozen, and you're gonna see the gray debuffs are going to be removed after this. Again, right here, I was just kind of trying to figure out like if I wanted to make these type of plays, because I didn't want to try to do too much damage. Because again, like I said before, you want to be frozen. Again, usually most players, they just remove all the buffs using Jormungandr's buff strips, but you want to be frozen right here, and you're gonna watch all the debuffs are gonna go away. Obviously infect is gonna go away as well too. And look at that, the gray, the Tauren debuffs that we hated are now gone. So this is where I'm also using the deer artifact card set, where if I have 5 gauge, I get unfrozen, and I'm obviously going to use my gold card to nuke the deer so we can go into phase 2. As you can see right here, I'm also trying to keep my buff strips, and again, the buff strip is going to be necessary for the last phase, so you want to try to keep at least 2 buff strips when going into that phase 4. All right, so for the phase 2, basically what you want to end up doing is, for the 2 cards that you use against the deer, you will be able to remove one of those damage reduction colors that you see up below. Again, the colors that you use, depending on which one it is based on the strongest attributes that the character is. So if you use a green, 2 greens, you will remove the blue damage reduction, right? If you use 2 reds, you are going to remove the green damage reduction. And if you use 2 blues, you're going to remove the red damage reduction buffs that he has. So that's why on this one, usually want to keep using those 2 same cards, because if you do not do that, or you use a card that's not those colors for that turn, you will get attack sealed for a turn. I think it's either 2 turns or 1 turn. So you have to be very, very careful. So you can see right here, I'm just going for all 2 cards right there. But I think I'm about to probably switch it up for red. So I switched it up for red, and you're gonna see I'm pretty much not gonna use any other skills right there. That's because you don't want to get attack seal. I'm just gonna move cards for my characters, just so I can build up my ultimate if possible. And you're gonna watch as the green damage reduction he has up there will be removed now. See, it's gone. So again, you want to use 2 attributes card to be able to remove it. Obviously, you can use how many cards you would like to, depending on you. Some people like to empty out their hand. But again, it all depends on whatever card you would like to use. So like if I wanted to, I could use 3 or all 4 of my green cards if I really wanted to. But it'll still do the same thing where it will just remove that the damage reduction for blue. So I'm using my Hail ults. And now we're gonna be removing the blue damage reduction. Alright. So Freyr tanks. And the crazy thing about Hail's passive is that that ultimate does not count against her own passive in terms of giving the character that dies the what's called retrogression buff. Like that's his own separate one. So we're gonna use all Thor cards right here since we lost the damage reduction. And we're pretty much about to kill. And you can see I'm still keeping those buff strip cards in my hand. Again, you want to keep as many buff strips as possible, usually 2, because you are going to need it on phase 4. Now phase 3 was one where I did not understand what was the gimmick when I did my first impression video. But what you want to do is you want to use 3 of the same attribute cards, and you will get a shield. This shield will allow you to pretty much take no damage from what I've seen. Like the shield makes this deer seems super easy, because you can just stall as much as possible as long as you're using those 3 attribute cards. All right, and the boss does get an HP related buff right here, but to get rid of this HP related buff, you have to ult. So it's a 50% HP related buff. To get rid of it, you have to ult. So watch this. I'm using 3 greens, and I'm probably just move cards. Again, he keep the HP related buff until I ult him. But you're gonna see we're gonna get a shield right here. And boom, we got a shield. And this will protect us. Look at that. I didn't even take no damage right there. And you want to keep that shield up because I believe he has a card that does a lot of damage. I think like 2000% damage multiplier. But we're gonna ult, and then we're gonna move our card. So watch it as we ult. He lost the HP related buff. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep that other buff strip card, but it's fine. Hopefully RNG be on our side next phase. All right, and he goes for that. And that was a skill D rank card debuff, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna use Freyr. Pretty much kill. think I used Thor card right here just because I didn't know if it was gonna kill or not. But obviously we kill because we 6 out of 6. And it deranked my hand. Alright. So this is another phase that I did not know how the gimmick worked. But it's pretty simple. You just want to follow the color cycle. And every time you follow the color cycle, the boss loses his immortality stacks and get a corrosive debuff on him. So I usually just started with blue, red. I started off with blue first, red, green, and then you go blue back again, obviously, because again you're trying to complete the color cycle. And that is pretty much all you got to do on this phase. Obviously you got to make sure you survive, but that is all you gotta do on this phase, is you just want to follow the color cycle. And that's why characters like Hale is kind of really good for this boss, is because obviously you have the revive, or what you call the retrogression buff gimmick that you can just go for. But again, like I said, for some people use Red Magelda, which she can also heal sometimes or help spam your ultimates, and obviously take away gauge from the boss. And the boss does apply buffs to himself. So you see right there, he got a corrosive debuff right here, and he lost a immortality stack. And like I said before, the boss does get some buffs on phase 4. So that's why this buff strip was going to be actually really helpful for us. And I got red Tarmy Link on Jormungandr because she usually gets targeted the most. I have seen people use like recovery rolls on Jormungandr just because she gets targeted a lot. And there goes the corrosive debuff right there. So again, we just following the color cycle. I should have kind of saved my my buff strip card right there, because I didn't really need to do it right there. I should have did it next phase, because that's where he gets like his base stats getting boosted. So don't use this buff strip card right there, what I did. You want to use it when he about to boost up his base stats, because obviously you didn't do no damage anyway, so those buffs didn't really matter. What's it called? Life of Seed didn't really matter, because usually Life of Seed just heals them up. All right, so again, we want to follow the color wheel again. And this is going to be our last one. We got red. I was actually debating if I want ult right here. I could have probably had low-key saved my ults. And you guys going to see sooner or later what I mean by that. But we've just following the color wheel. And with the last one gone, we're pretty much good. Because I got the invincibility right here. That's why I said I could have saved it. This is because my Thor was not going to die right there. This is where he has a stance. And my ultimate would have been pretty nice against this, because I would have probably took like basically no damage at that point. And you probably already noticed, but he started to lose some damage reduction buffs up here. You can see right here, he doesn't have the red one no more. So he's starting to lose his fixed damage buffs right there. I keep calling it damage reduction. It's fixed damage buffs. And he will hit pretty hard right here. But watch what's end up going to happen right here. I was debating if I should ult, which I probably should have ulted right there, just because he does lose his stance once you do that. You see I'm taking a lot of damage right here. Okay, you see I'm taking those hits. Now watch what's end up going to happen right here. Like, look at that. I'm just taking hits, and he lost his stance. That's why I said I should have had ulted right there, but it's all good. And the only scary thing is that he obviously might kill. So look at this. he didn't kill me right there. You see, I got the retrogression buff. Now, the reason why I got the retrogression buff is because whenever I had my characters die, I had the ultimate retrogression buffs on them. Which this one is a 2-turn from her own passive, while the one from the ultimate is a 1-turn. So they both completely different. At first, I thought they kind of coincide with each other, but no. As long as I kept that ultimate retrogression buff on them, I kind of still had my passive one intact, which kind of saved this run, or my Thor would have been pretty much dead right there. So now it's pretty much GG at this point, because now we are going to probably just kill or deal high amounts of damage. Because again, we're going to keep following that color wheel. And he started losing some more of his fixed damage now. See that? He's losing his fixed damage. And that was GG. So yeah, like I said before, Hell, I'm not gonna say Hell is a must summon to do or must use for the deer, because I have seen people pretty much beat the deer without using Hell, but she does make it a little bit easier. I ain't gonna lie. 2 out of 6. Again, I have 2 out of 6 Hell, and it was only just because I wanted to do deer with her. Especially because of content, but it seemed like she is a really great character for the deer, man. I'm just being honest, man. She's really, really good. But again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe again, and let me know, man. Did this help you out? Are you gonna do the deer for floor, or are you gonna skip? I felt like it's pretty it's easier than the first release of the bird. This is definitely a really easier demonic beast for floor, surprisingly.